Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to daily news analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 11th of May 2024. Displayed here are the articles that we are going to discuss today. So before we start, I have an important announcement for you. Attention UPSC aspirants. Are you ready to master environment for the prelims? Welcome to Shankar's Telegram live series, your key to conquering UPSC prelims. Join us for a live session featuring Mr. Vijay, faculty member at Shankar IAS Academy. He is here to unveil the high priority environment topics for the UPSC prelims 2024. Don't miss this opportunity to gain unparalleled insights and skyrocket your preparation. So check the comment section for the Shankar's Telegram live series and stay ahead of the curve. So without much delay, let us get into the first news article discussion. So first, let us solve few previous year questions. Look at this first question. Consider the following statements. First statement, under Ramsar Convention, it is mandatory on the part of the government of India to protect and conserve all the wetlands in the territory of India. See, Ramsar Convention is intergovernmental treaty which was adopted in 2nd of February 1971. Under this, wetlands of international importance are declared as Ramsar sites. Here, according to Article 4 of this convention, each contrary party should promote conservation of wetlands by establishing natural reserves. But it is not mandatory to conserve all the wetlands in India. So, the first statement is incorrect. Second statement, the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules 2010 were framed by the Government of India based on the recommendations of Ramsar Convention. See, Wetland Conservation Rules 2010 was notified to ensure better conservation and management of wetlands, but know that they are not framed as a part of Ramsar. So the second statement is also incorrect. Next statement, the Wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2010 also encompass the drainage area or catchment regions of wetlands as determined by the authority. Note that Wetland Conservation and Management Rules gave a wide definition of wetlands. According to the rules, wetlands are area or of marsh, fen, peatland or water, can be natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water that is static or flowing, fresh, brackish or salt, including areas of marine water, the depth of which at low tide does not exceed 6 meters. Moreover, it includes all inland waters such as lake, reservoirs, tanks, backwaters, lagoons, creeks, estuaries, and man-made wetlands, etc. But note that it does not include main river channels, paddy fields, and the coastal wetlands. So the third statement is correct. Here they are asking which of the statements given above are correct. So the correct answer is option C, 3 only. Next question. This question is about judges of Supreme Court of India. So let us revise few things about them and come back to this question. First, let us know the basics. A judge of Supreme Court can be removed from his office by an order of the President. The President can issue the removal order only after an address by Parliament has been presented to him on the same session for such removal. The address must be supported by a special majority of each houses of the Parliament. That is, a majority of total membership of the House and the majority of not less than 2/3 of members of the House present and voting. Know that the grounds of the removal are two, that is, proved misbehavior or incapacity. Also, the Judges Enquiry Act 1968 regulates the procedures related to the removal of judges of Supreme Court by the process of impeachment. No judge of Supreme Court has been impeached so far. Impeachment motions of Justice V. Ramaswamy and Justice Deepak Mishra were defeated in the Parliament. With these basics, let us analyze the statements one by one. The motion to impeach a judge of a Supreme Court of India cannot be rejected by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha as per the Judges Enquiry Act 1968. This statement is incorrect because under the Judges Enquiry Act 1968, the chairman or speaker may or may not admit the motion of impeachment. Next statement, the Constitution of India defines and gives details or what constitutes incapacity and proved misbehavior of the judges of Supreme Court. This statement is also incorrect because the Constitution nowhere defines the term incapacity and proved misbehavior. Next statement, the details of process of impeachment of the judges of Supreme Court of India are given in the Judges Enquiry Act 1968. This statement is correct. Next statement, if the motion for the impeachment of a judge is taken up for voting, the law requires the motion to be backed by each house of the Parliament and supported by majority of the total membership of that house and by not less than 2/3 of the total members of the house present and voting. This statement is correct. So here the answer is option C, 3 and 4 only. Look at this news article. Proteins are long chains of amino acid residues that fold into specific shapes. See, a properly folded proteins function normally, whereas misfolded ones can lead to debilitating diseases. Since these chains are quite long, a given protein can actually fold into one of the very large number of shapes, yet it makes a beeline for a specific shape while avoiding all the others. How and why this happens constitute an important mystery in the structural biology called the protein folding problem. To solve this, in 2018, a Google subsidiary named DeepMind developed a purpose-built AI tool to predict the shapes into which different proteins could fold called AlphaFold. The upgraded AlphaFold 2 followed 2 years later. Many scientists and technologists acknowledge that these two deep learning systems have transformed human awareness of protein structures. Recently, DeepMind launched AlphaFold 3, which could predict the shapes with nearly 80% accuracy as well as model DNA, RNA, ligands and modifications to them. As with the first two AlphaFolds, number 3 is great for being able to elucidate the folded proteins structures in seconds rather than years humans have required with advanced microscopic techniques. Now, what is AlphaFold? See, AlphaFold, it is an AI-based protein structure prediction tool. It is based on a computer system called deep neural network. See, this works exactly like human brain, where neural networks use a large number of input data and provides the desired output. So how does AlphaFold work? See, it is fed with protein sequences as input. When protein sequences enter through one end, the predicted three-dimensional structures come out through other. Let me explain to you. See, this process is based on training, learning, retraining and relearning. The first step uses the available structures of 1,70,000 proteins in the protein data bank to train the computer model. Then it uses the results of that training to learn the structural predictions of proteins not in the protein data bank. Once that is done, it uses the high accuracy predictions from the first step to retain and relearn to gain higher accuracy for the earlier predictions. By using this method, AlphaFold has now predicted the structures of the entire 214 million unique protein sequences which are deposited in the Universal Protein Resource Database, that is UniProt database. Recently, Google's DeepMind has unveiled the third major version of its AlphaFold artificial intelligence model designed drugs and target disease more effectively. So this is all about AlphaFold. With this, let us move on to the next news article. Look at this article. Recent changes in the Ministry of External Affairs guidelines regarding overseas citizenship of India OCI applications have created uncertainty for individuals from former Portuguese territories in India. The situation has left many individuals, especially in Goa, anxious as they navigate the complexities of dual citizenship and the implications for their OCI applications. So this is the crux. In our discussion, we are going to see about the provisions of the citizenship in India. The Constitution deals with the citizenship from Article 5 to 11 under Part 2. Actually, it identifies persons who became citizens of India at the commencement of the Constitution, that is on 26th of January 1950. But it does not deal with the problem of acquisition or loss of citizenship subsequent to its commencement. On the other hand, it empowers the Parliament to enact a law to deal with the matters related to citizenship. Accordingly, the Parliament has enacted Citizenship Act 1955, which has been amended in 1957, 1960, 1985, 1986, 1992, 2003, 2005 and 2015 and 2019. Now let us see the provisions of Citizenship Amendment Act 1955. Firstly, with respect to the procurement of citizenship, according to the Indian Citizenship Act 1955, one can acquire the status of an Indian citizen by the following ways. First one, citizenship through birth. An individual born in India is applicable for Indianship under this category. Next one is citizenship through descent. This is applicable for people whose parents are from India, but that specific individual was born in a foreign country. Next category is citizenship through registration. This is applicable to individuals who have Indian ancestors. Next one is citizenship through naturalization. This is for the people who have a long record of staying in India. Next one is citizenship through the incorporation of territory. This is for the individuals in the region that is incorporated by the Government of India. Next one is citizenship provision to people belonging to Assam Accord. So with this understanding, now let us see the provisions of Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. So with respect to eligibility for granting citizenship, it amended the Citizenship Act 1955 to make illegal migrants who are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis and Christians from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan eligible for the Indian citizenship. Moreover, it also defines who are illegal migrants. An illegal migrant enters India without valid travel document or stay beyond the permitted time, potentially facing prosecution, deportation or imprisonment. Those from these communities who entered India on or before December 31st of 2014 would not be treated as illegal immigrants, providing a path to naturalization. Thirdly, it also spoke about relaxation rule. See, the amendment relaxed the residency requirement from 11 years to 6 years for these communities to acquire Indian citizenship by naturalization. Fourthly, with respect to exception, the amendments for illegal migrants will not apply to certain tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura, as well as states regulated by Inner Line Permit under Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873. Finally, the amendment spoke about the grounds for cancelling overseas citizenship India registration. See, the 1955 Act allows the central government to cancel OCA registrations on various grounds, with the amendments adding new ground for cancellation if the OCI violates the government notified law. So this is all about Citizenship Act. With this, let us move on to the next news article. Look at this article. The Supreme Court granted interim bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal so he could campaign for elections. The court emphasized the importance of participatory democracy, stating that general elections are crucial for the functioning of democracy. The court's decision supported the argument that ensuring a level playing field in elections is essential, as it is a part of the basic structure of the constitution. Kejriwal's party had argued that democracy, free and fair elections and a level playing field are integral components of the constitution. So in this context, let us understand about right to campaign using our mains answer writing practice. Look at this question. Analyze the significance of the right to campaign in a democracy. Also, discuss the potential challenges and suggest measures to enhance the effectiveness of political campaigning. So here, we have to address three things in this question. First one is significance of the right to campaign. Then, the challenges in political campaigning. And lastly, we must suggest measures to enhance the effectiveness of political campaigning. So starting with an introduction, it can go like this. In a democracy, the right to campaign is fundamental as it allows individuals and groups to express their views, advocate for their interests and engage with the electorate. This right ensures that citizens can participate actively in the political process, shaping public opinion and influencing public policy decisions. So this can be your introduction. Now moving on to the body part of the answer. Here let's see the significance of the right to campaign in democracy. Firstly, it promotes civic engagement. Political campaigning encourages citizens to become actively involved in the democratic process. It empowers individuals to voice their concerns, participate in debates, and contribute to the formation of public opinion. Secondly, it facilitates electoral competition. Campaigning fosters a competitive electoral environment where political parties and candidates go for public support. This competition encourages parties to articulate their policies and engage with voters, thereby enhancing the quality of democracy. Thirdly, right to campaign ensures accountability. Through campaigning, politicians are held accountable for their actions and promises. Candidates must communicate their vision, plan, and track of record to voters who can then make informed choices during elections. Fourthly, it promotes pluralism and diversity. The right to campaign enables diverse voices and viewpoints to be heard in the public sphere. It allows marginalized groups, civil society organizations, and grassroots movements to advocate for their interests and challenge mainstream narratives. So this is your first part of the body. Now we shall look at the challenges in political campaigning. Firstly, money in politics. Excessive reliance on financial resources can undermine the fairness and integrity of political campaigns. Wealthy individuals and interest groups may exert disproportionate influence, drawing out the voices of ordinary citizens. Secondly, manipulative tactics. Campaigns sometimes resort to deceptive messaging, misinformation, and negative campaigning to sway public opinion. Such tactics erode trust in the democratic process and hinder genuine debate on substantive issues. Thirdly, media bias and fragmentation. Biased media coverage and the proliferation of echo chambers on social media can distort public discourse and reinforce polarization. Citizens may be exposed to sensitive information that reinforce their pre-existing beliefs, undermining the quality of democratic deliberation. Fourthly, regulatory challenges. Inadequate regulation of campaign finance, advertising, and political communication can create loopholes for abuse and manipulation. Weak enforcement mechanisms may fail to hold violators accountable, undermining the fairness and transparency of elections. So this can be your second part of the body. Next, we we are going to discuss the measures to enhance effectiveness of political campaigning. First one is transparency and disclosure. Implementing robust regulations requiring political actors to disclose their source of funding, expenditures, and campaign activities. Transparency enhances accountability and helps prevent corruption and undue influence. Next one is public finance. Introducing public financing mechanisms to reduce the influence of private money in politics. By providing candidate with equitable funding, public financing promotes fair competition and levels the playing field for all contenders. Next one is media literacy and fact-checking. Promote media literacy programs and fact-checking initiatives to equip citizens with skills to critically evaluate the political information. Educated and informed voters are less susceptible to manipulation and misinformation. Next one is ethical code of conduct. Encourage political parties and candidates to adhere to the ethical code of conduct that prohibits deceptive tactics, negative campaigning, and hate speech. Upholding ethical standards foster a more respectful and substantive political discourse. So this can be your final part of the body. Now moving on to the conclusion part, you can write like this. In summary, the right to campaign is essential for the vitality of democracy, enabling citizens to participate actively in the political process and hold their representatives accountable. However, political campaigning also faces numerous challenges, including the influence of money, manipulative tactics, media bias, and regulatory gaps. By implementing measures to enhance transparency, fairness, and ethical conduct, societies can strengthen the effectiveness of political campaigning and safeguard the integrity of democratic governance. So this can be your conclusion for this question. So with this, let us see few other articles which were in news. Look at this article. The United Nations General Assembly voted in favor of a resolution stating that Palestine meets the criteria for full membership in the United Nations. Although this resolution does not grant Palestine full membership, it recognizes their qualification for it and recommends that the Security Council consider the matter positively. India, along with 142 other countries, supported this resolution. The resolution also grants Palestine additional rights in the United Nations starting from September this year, enhancing its participation in the organization. Next, look at this Indian Express article. The main point of this article is that Malaysia is attempting to improve the negative reputation of its palm oil industry, labeled as unsustainable, by using orangutan diplomacy. This involves gifting orangutans to trade partners who purchase Malaysian palm oil, similar to how China has used panda diplomacy in the past year. However, the use of an endangered species like an orangutan for this purpose is seen as ironic and potentially problematic, given that palm oil production is a major cause of deforestation and loss of habitat for these very animals. That's it. Now let us move on to the prelims practice question discussion. Look at the first question. With reference to India, consider the following statements. There is only one citizenship and one domicile. This statement is correct. Next, a citizen by birth only can become head of state. This statement is incorrect because any type of citizenship holders in India can become head of state, unlike other countries. So the second statement is incorrect. Next, a foreigner once granted citizenship cannot be deprived of it under any circumstances. This statement is incorrect. Here they are asking which of the statements are correct. So the answer is option A, one only. Next question, what is the Cas9 protein that is often mentioned in the news? To answer this question, we need to understand about CRISPR. See, CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. It is a unique technology that enables geneticists and medical researchers to edit part of the genes by removing, adding, or altering sections of the DNA sequence. Know that Cas9 is basically an enzyme that is used like a pair of scissors to cut two strands of DNA at a specific location to add, remove, or repair the bits of DNA. So with this understanding, here the answer is option A. It is a molecular scissor used in targeted gene editing. So with this, we come to the end of this news article discussion. If you like the video, do like, share, and subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy. Thank you so much for watching.